everybody. Welcome back to The Scroll. This is your weekly deep dive into, well, I try to be weekly, deep dive into the world of video game news and chaos. I'm your host, Lilac Boots, and on the line is Frank Grouch. What up, Frank?
Yo, what's up?
Alright, well, today we're gonna do a bit of a deep dive into this whole, Nintendo losing their patents here in the US. Kind of leads back into like the whole Power World suit. I'm pretty sure we brought it up like 2 years ago when we recorded. I'm sure we did. Because honestly, I thought Nintendo was gonna win because it's like, well, yeah, Power World kind of did take their shit, but at the same time, it's like they kind of gave us what we wanted. So what the fuck is your problem, Nintendo? But also after that, we're also gonna talk about a new type of Game Pass that came out. So. Let's get started. Alright, so first, about Nintendo. So, if you didn't hear, what happened was, a couple of days ago, or last week rather, the United States Patent Office had issued a non-final rejection of all 26 claims in Nintendo's patent for, quote, summoning a character and letting it fight. Now, here's what I didn't understand. Let me basically break down like what's going on just so you guys understand.
Very important to note, the patent of the summoning a side character to fight for you is important. That is the most important part about this.
Yes.
I will explain in a little bit, but go ahead, Boots.
Yes. So, alright, so here's the thing. But first, before I will say that, why they did it wasn't about a specific game. Well, let me go back. Sorry. So they actually got the patent last year. Last year, they actually did get the patent. What's embarrassing about the whole thing is that the United States Patent Office realized that they actually didn't have the rights to the patent. So the director of the patent office had to go back in and said that claim was too broad. So he had to go in and tell the patent office like, okay, yeah, so the patent that we gave them last year in 2025 is not going to work. We have to dig deeper, and they have to give a more specific patent for them to claim the rights to it. Now, so what the patent office also found is that they found, quote, prior art for this, meaning that that patent that they're asking for existed in the games already. So a good example is Konami. So there was a PS2 era patent from Konami who already had characters having like auto and manual battle modes. Now, if anybody has ever played a Pokemon game in their life, you know that the version of this was the shift and the set mode in the settings whenever you were playing with your Pokemon team. If you've ever played any Pokemon game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So there's that. And then, sorry, hang on one second. Then also Bandai Namco, they already, had a patent for, basically the whole logic of how a summoned character appears in relation to the player. So it's like, there's two other companies that technically already had, patents for this specific scenario that they're trying to, basically legally say is theirs, and it's not true. So my first question about this whole thing was, how did those two companies get those patents? Because I think those patents were done in like 2002 or something like that. But Pokemon's been out since at least in the US at least it's been out since like 96, I want to say. Mm-hmm. So my whole thing is, how did Nintendo not get the patent for this way back in the 90s? So that's why I thought their initial patent request in like 2024 was weird. So basically, what happened was, so in the early 90s, game companies rarely patented like gameplay loops, I guess you can call it. So most of what makes Pokemon feel like Pokemon is protected by copyright. So the specific look of Pikachu, the music, the name Pokemon. So just so you know the difference, a copyright protects the art. So you can't make another yellow electric mouse and call him Pikachu. But the patent protects the function. So you could, however, make a game where you capture monsters in balls as long as they don't look like Pokeballs. They just can't look like what the Pokeball, the Pokemon company already made. So Nintendo actually didn't start like aggressively filing these divisional patents, I guess you want to say, like breaking a whole large idea into like tiny specific gameplay mechanics until recently. So patent that they tried to pull in 2024 that was just rejected was basically an attempt to retroactively claim a method that they've been using for years. But the law requires that the patent be new at the time of filing. So basically they did move too slow. They waited 30 years to do a patent for some shit that they should have did in 1993 or whatever the fuck Pokemon originally came out. But they didn't do it. So my next question was, if that was the case, how did like Digimon and like other shit similar to Pokemon come out, right? So the answer to that was, so the whole monster battler genre was like basically, you know, like a whole digital gold rush back in the 90s, because you had that, you had Pokemon, Digimon, fucking what's that other show? It's some shit that's not as popular, but it was the same shit. It was the same thing.
I don't remember, but I know that it existed because it was a craze, and it was like, how many knockoffs can we get? And I know Digimon isn't technically a knockoff, but like it is, but like it's not. Yeah, you know, because there's definitely differences. One, they can fucking talk, and two, they're not those evolutions in Digimon are insane.
Yeah, they're great. They're fucking great. They were just great.
They're so good in the best way. Like
yeah. And
I don't know, man. It's okay.
But and also, those two genres, those two shows actually grew out of the whole Tamagotchi craze. So that's actually how it all started. It all started from those Tamagotchi things, and that's when Pokemon and Digimon came out of that. So here's the thing. So there's a difference between... So we actually were just talking about this offline, you guys. So legally, a genre can't be patented. So just like nobody can patent the idea of a first-person shooter or a platformer, Nintendo couldn't own the idea of collecting monsters. And then also... here's the thing, all those games and everything I said was created by different companies. So Digimon was created by Bandai. Monster Rancher, I think that's what I was thinking of, was created by Tecmo.
Yeah, well, yes, but that wasn't a knockoff. I'll give you that much. But it wasn't a part of the craze thing. Like, it does exist.
Right.
Slime Rancher also was something like that.
Yeah, so that too, right. And Shin Megami Tensei was created by Atlas. So because they all had unique art, different stories, and their own specific like menu/code, they didn't violate Nintendo's copyrights.
And they were all summoning sub characters to help the player.
Yes. So so the reason that like I said before, the reason that the US Patent Office rejected Nintendo's new claim is that what they were trying to claim was already exists. So the specific patent, like I said, that they were trying to do was summoning a character and letting it fight. That is the patent that they were trying to do in 2024. So, the whole Konami thing, their patent was created in 2002. So they already patented a system where a sub-character fights for you. That was 2002. Bandai Namco, which was not too long ago, their patent was in 2020, and theirs was a patent on how a summoned character is positioned. Right. So, the whole thing is that the reason this is a win for the industry is that it proves Nintendo can't suddenly decide to own a mechanic they've been using for 30 years just because they didn't patent it back then. If they had been granted this now, it would have been like... It would fuck
the industry up.
Yeah, and
Persona 5 exists, the Persona series exists, Shin Megami exists. Final Fantasy to an extent even pulls this off with the fucking big summons like Ifrit and Shiva and whatnot, and the older not the new one, but like the older Final Fantasy. They also have summons. So like summons, generally a summons is not what you're doing with the Pokemon anyway. It's a different concept. But if Nintendo just focused on the ball and the concept of the ball, then it would be fine. Like, yeah, sure. Like Digimon doesn't even use a ball. It's like a little digital like hand, like a Tamagotchi thing.
Right, exactly.
So, like, and Power World could even use the the way that Naruto does their teleport with the kunai. Like you throw a kunai, you teleport to the kunai. That could be the monster thing. You could just do something different. Nobody's saying you can't summon the monsters. I'm not saying that. They're just saying you can't use a ball. That's all.
Exactly. So yeah. So like I was saying, if they had been granted this, it'd be this basically.
Take my idea.
If they for those of you who aren't that into gaming that's listening to this, it'd be the equivalent of Ford trying to patent steering wheel this year. Everyone's been using steering wheels since cars were invented. Like, come on, bro, you can't do that. So
yeah, that's funny.
Now so now that you guys know that, here's why this whole thing is kind of embarrassing on everyone's end. So technically, so right now, the U.S. Patent Office is currently getting roasted by a whole bunch of legal experts. So normally, a patent is supposed to be checked for that prior art before it's granted. Before. So, the office actually had granted them this patent back in September with almost like zero pushback. It wasn't until the internet and like intellectual property lawyers started screaming, excuse me, no, this has existed since the 90s. And like the director of the U.S. Patent Office had to step in. So the director's name, his name is John A. Squires. He ordered a re-examination himself back in November, which is extremely rare. It's basically like the boss walking into your office and saying like, who approved this? So we need to redo this whole thing because it's embarrassing. So when they finally did do the homework, which they should have done months before that, they found that even Nintendo owned older patents that proved that this new invention wasn't even new. So, come on, bro. So why it's embarrassing for Nintendo, what I just said was, for a company that has like a reputation for ninjas, which is, you know, their fucking elite legal team, this was basically a massive like unforced error. So to get this patent through, what their lawyers did was they essentially tried to double dip. They took the technical descriptions from their own 2019 and 2020 filings to try and create like a new broader weapon, quote unquote, for 2024. So it's like the whole arrogance of the thing, because it's almost like they thought they were so big that the patent office wouldn't bother checking if the summon and battle mechanic was the actual new invention. They really ignored the fact that Konami and Bandai Namco already had those mechanics on the books. And according to other reports, when the re-examination started, Nintendo actually missed the response deadline earlier this year. So for a company that sues people for like fan art, letting a government deadline slip on their own patent is a huge what the hell. Like, really? That's why I was like, I was so confused. I was so confused when this happened. And then when I found out that they lost all their patents, I was like, wait, but didn't they really already do this? So once I started like diving deeper into like this whole thing, I was just like, all right, yeah, everybody fucked up. Like everybody. There's no way on anyone's end that this should have even gotten this far. So now here's the thing. Even though they got rejected on all 26 of those claims, Nintendo still has 2 months to actually technically quote unquote, fix what they filed and try again. And they most likely won't just walk away. They'll probably just try to make the wording like more hyper specific just to save face. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I got you.
Yeah, so that's the whole thing with Nintendo and their failed patent thing that they got going on. It's honestly really embarrassing. I just, you know, like I said before, like these are the people that sue for fan art. And you mean to tell me that you didn't pay attention to see that you already did this shit already? Like, come on, bro.
Right.
All right.
They don't pay attention sometimes. They just sue. Wish they would do a little bit of a better job on the other stuff. I'm glad they went after the political group that used their stuff and sued them. I thought that was a good move. Took them longer than it should have, but you know they did it. So I'm not going to go into the story. It's old. I don't want to bring it up, but sometimes they use their powers for good. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. Disney is the same way. Like they. Sometimes they wave their big Disney money around and like it's like no, don't do that. And then other times it's like okay, that was actually helpful. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Right. So next, there is a new, kind of exciting, at least for me anyway, subscription service coming out next week. Publisher Indie.io is launching its own subscription service, Indie Pass, on, April 13th. The price is decent. It's going to be $6.99 a month. In the library, they're saying they're going to have at least 70 games at launch, including Echoes of the Plungrove and the Dark Deity series. And the platform is PC only via a standalone launcher. Although they're saying it's expected to work on a Steam Deck. Unlike other services, though, that pay a lump sum, Indie Pass, which I thought this was interesting, they pay developers based on player time spent. So the more people play their games, the more the developers get paid. It's also non-exclusive. So developers can keep their games on Steam or other stores. So I think that's really fair. The only catch is that to get that $7 price point, you have to download another launcher on your PC. And yes, I know we have launchers for every fucking thing ever now. So that could be annoying, but it sounds like a really interesting idea. And I love that developers are getting paid based on like, how many people are playing their game. I think that's excellent, honestly. What do you think, Frank, about the price?
I think it's great. And like for as far as subscription services go, if we're talking subscription services, $7 is a good price.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sony's base is like 15, Microsoft is like 15. Everybody's subscription service is more than $10. Like everything is. So to offer up to 70 games at launch, and it's very much an indie like platform thing, it's very much a good move for people who play on the indies and PC stuff. Like you get all of it directly to you. Like, yo, I'm about to go jump on this indie game service. Now, I will say it's probably going to be detrimental to the industry if the big corporations get a sight of this. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's basically just PlayStation Plus or Game Pass for indie games. So it's not like you're getting anything spectacular.
Right.
Like they're not reinventing the wheel. They just give the option for indie games. So I think it's pretty dope. And then the more you play it, the longer you play the more the devs get paid. That's a pretty good move. Like it's like, hey, look, we'll put your game on here. If it's good, you'll get paid. Mm-hmm. If it's just some bullshit and nobody's playing it, I don't know what to tell you, man. That's on you. Like I'm not, it is what it is. You make a better game. So, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think it works.
Yeah, me too. I'm definitely gonna give it a try when it comes out next week. Because I'm just curious to see what type of games are on there, and I have been playing a lot of indie games lately. One of them I'll bring up later. So yeah, I think it's great. So, that was pretty much it for the Nintendo stuff and the Indie.io stuff. When we get back, we're going to talk about all these annoying ass price hikes and what we've been playing. We'll be right back. Now we're gonna talk about all this fucking price hikes this year. Like we all have money. Like what the hell? This is what kickstarted this off for me. So Sony, they officially increased the price of the fucking PS5, PS5 Pro, and the PlayStation Portal globally. However, in the United States, the PS5 Pro just jumped another $50 fucking dollars. Listen, Sony, you can just call me and tell me that you don't want me to buy your stuff. It's fine. Like I just like, what are we supposed to do? Okay, now industry analysts are calling it RAMageddon. And the only reason they're calling it that is because there is a massive global shortage of high-end RAM and components. Also, in combination with new trade tariffs that just went into effect. Oh, thank you so much, government. I love this. I love that you're doing this to me. Okay? I love that you're effing with my work stuff. Okay? And now you're messing with my leisure time, which, is not okay. See, now you just effing me up all over the place. You pick one. Okay? Can you pick one, please? Damn.
Yeah.
Hang on one second. So, what did I say? Yes. Okay. Now, Nintendo. Alright. So, not to be left out of the making people sad news cycle, Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa hinted this week that the Switch 2, or whatever they're going to call the shit or whatever, is likely going to follow suit. He explicitly stated that their basic policy, quote-unquote, is to pass increased costs and tariffs directly to the consumer. Thank you for letting me know that you're just going to pass off all the money. Yeah, you're paying for this. Not us. You're paying for this.
I'm just sick of it, man. I don't know what to say. Like the RAM prices because of AI going through the roof, and now they're coming back down, and people are stockpiled on the RAM because y'all jumped so fucking out the window, and now everybody's stockpiling, so the prices got to come down. And then messing with the tariffs and the trade and all that nonsense because of America's economy. And now we got to deal with PlayStation price hikes. It's all bad. Just
Yep.
I hate it.
Yep. And finally, Xbox. Microsoft, you're not safe either. They decided they were going to screw with us too. So while Sony is hiking prices, Microsoft just leaked more info on Project Helix, which is their code name for the next-gen Xbox console. There's a rumor saying that they are pivoting to a PC console hybrid that might run Steam and Epic Games natively just to justify a higher price point. So it's just, all these gaming companies are saying, yeah, F y'all, everything's going up. Too bad. That's what they're saying. Okay? That's just, okay, now for all my people that, I gotta look out for y'all that's not into gaming that much. Let me explain it like this. Imagine if you went to go buy a car, right? That's been out for 3 years. But instead of the price going down, the dealership told you it's now $2,000 more expensive because tires are harder to find. What the fuck?
I mean, that's about to happen anyway with cars, but yeah.
Oh, so they're screwed too. Okay, great.
Yeah, the entire, I'm not saying you. I just wish everybody realized how bad it's about to be for literally everything. For the next at least 8 months. Like, it's going to be really bad for a very good amount of time.
Exactly.
It's going to be worse before it gets better, and it's going to hit for everything. And it's just like just remember, everybody's energy bills are going up because maybe because of AI data centers, or maybe just because they can. If you're listening to this and you're an American, you get out there and be like, hey, lower my energy bill price to a reasonable rate. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors.
Don't turn this
you
shit
have
over.
to do this. The more of us who are saying this, they're going to start listening. I'm not saying you got to go flip over cars yet, although, but the more of us that are making these stinks and raising these noses, they're gonna make note of it. Like, you got to make some noise, man. It's bad across the board. We got to start shaking the tables ASAP. That's what I'm saying. So,
yeah, and usually, just like cars, consoles depreciate as like they age. So it's like the fact that they're increasing the price just like is really annoying. So it's like this year is like, you know what it is? This year it's officially the year of the reverse sale. Nothing's on sale. Everything's just going up. So just, hold on to your pockets. That's all I really have to say about it. And finally, we're just gonna catch up with you guys on what we've been playing. Frank, you wanna go or I can go?
Yeah, I've moved away from all the live service stuff for a little bit because I got tired of games with no end. Like, it's just, I just want to, sometimes I want finality, you know what I mean? So, I've been playing, and I know this is going to sound funny I say that, but I've been playing Warframe because Warframe has missions that have a final ending. Okay. So, like, I'm okay with that. I can do a couple missions and be done. Yeah, that's fair. And the story is told, and I'm out of there. I've been playing Hi-Fi Rush. That's really good, really fun game. I remember that, yep. I got I'm slowly playing through Banishers, Ghost of New Eden. That's a fun, it's an interesting story game. And I just finished Ball Pit. I got the platinum for Ball Pit. Oh, nice. And it is very fun, an amazing game. That's Ball X Pit. We talked about this at the award season shows, and I was like, what is this? And everybody I've talked to about it since I found it has loved it. So if you haven't played it by now, I suggest everybody get a chance to give it a crack at Ball Pit. Ball X Pit. It's very good. It's fun, it's insane, it's got a lot going on, so enjoy it. And then I went back to the finals because I needed a little bit of a violence mix up, so I got the finals going. And then I got Scott Pilgrim EX, which is like a version of the Scott Pilgrim game from before, but a little bit different, a little bit of a change up, but it's pretty fun. I'm enjoying it, so having a blast.
Nice, that's good. Yeah. My gaming these past 2 weeks has been a little emotional, kind of. So what I mean by that is I had started on a nostalgia tour thing, whatever. And I decided to turn on my PS2 emulator, and I was just been playing that. So I think the last time we recorded, I had said that I was playing Star Ocean Till the End of Time. That game is like probably my favorite JRPG or just RPG of all time. Because that game was just amazing on the PS2. I loved the story. I loved the characters. I know the internet was raging because of the plot twist at the end. I don't care. I thought that shit was funny. Everybody was pissed off. I thought that shit was fucking funny. Yeah, I was just like, oh, this is great. So as I was playing that, I was looking at because I have a folder of like other PS2 games I could randomly like dabble into if I wanted to. So one of the games that I saw was a game based on an anime. I don't know if you guys ever watched Inuyasha. So I used to have the game Inuyasha: The Secret of the Cursed Mask, which was on PS2 as well. And basically the story is just that you're like a new made up character that they did for the game, who ends up in the world that Kagome ends up going into all the time, when you meet Inuyasha and everyone else, and the whole cast and everything. So the game is basically like a really long ass episode of Inuyasha if you really want to take it there. But it's just, I had never beaten that game. I just enjoyed it just because I was just a fan of the show. Like, if you like the show, it's a decent game. My only critique now that I'm not Inuyasha adjacent, I should say, is that the gameplay is a little bit repetitive. It's an RPG, and what I really like the animations that they put in it more than the actual gameplay. So like the intro to the game, you get introduced to there's like a quick 2-minute cutscene, like animation cutscene with the main character, and like how she ends up in the world, which is cool. You meet everyone, and then there's an animation based on like your combo attacks. So if you decide to combine your attack like the main character in Inuyasha, or like the main character in Kagome, or the main character in one of the other people on the show, you get an animation like showing the attack, which was also really cool. That was great, but like once you've tried all the different combinations and seen like all the animations, it gets like really repetitive. So it's like, it was cool when you first saw it, like seeing how the main character's power ended up mixed with Kagome's and mixed with like all the other cast members and everything was fine. But yeah, the plot it's like the plot and the writing was better than like the actual gameplay, which is that was like my only real critique. So since it got repetitive, I just googled like what the endings were, or like what type of endings you could get, and it was like really emotional. I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting to feel like this like towards the end of the game. I was like, this is like really emotional. I was like, I can't take this, and I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's just really fucked up, because I'm not gonna spoil the ending for you guys. There's like 5 different endings. And the best ending, in my opinion, is if you're playing as the, because when you play the game, you can choose to have the main character either be male or female. In my opinion, even though I always played the female because, I'm a girl, the male ending with Kagome was probably the best ending, only just because, you'll find out if you decide to play the game. But that was probably the best ending. And, it was just like it was just an emotional thing. So there's that, and then, what else I was playing? I was playing Drill Core, and then also just earlier today, I started playing a game called Going Medieval. I had originally played it when it was in its beta stage, when it was like early access. It's officially came out about 2-3 weeks ago, which I didn't even know until, I had opened my Steam, this morning, and I was just like, oh, okay, so it's out now. I'm like, I wonder if they made any improvements or whatever. So I'm like, oh, this is the same shit. When I started the game, it's basically like an open world, city builder, resource gathering type of game. Only problem I had initially with this game was that I felt like, the beginning is a lot harder for no reason, and you have a certain amount of settlers that help you start everything, and the process is so slow only just because you have a certain amount of settlers. Come to find out, I was just playing the game wrong. So it wasn't even the game, it was me. So I'm like taking another look at it now, and I'm like, now I'm enjoying it. And none of my stuff is getting ruined as I'm playing the game. So turns out I was just screwing up the whole time. And it wasn't the game. So apologies if I ever talk shit about this game on the show, but I'm enjoying it now. So that's the whole point. And yeah, that's the whole thing. So that's basically what I've been playing. And then I think House Flipper is free. If you happen to listen to this tomorrow or Monday rather, get it on Steam. It's free right now. The original House Flipper game. If you get bored and you want to just do simple shit in a video game, it's great for that. So House Flipper is free. So yes, I was playing that earlier too. So that was pretty much it. Frank, did you have anything else you wanted to say or whatever?
No, chill, playing the games, excited. I'm looking forward to South of Midnight. I'm probably gonna pick that up this week.
Okay.
Because it just got released on PlayStation. I'm excited for that.
Oh, nice.
And that's about it. I'll report back when I get a chance.
Yeah, alright. So, thanks for listening, guys. Shout out to, all the people that I'm cool with. Shout out to Stu. Shout out to my sister. Shout out to, all the people, if you're religious, happy Easter. If you're not religious, happy Jesus Zombie Day. That's pretty much it. We'll see you guys next time.
Later.